What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're not going to be working on the Z, but we are going to be working on my CBR. So today is going to be a little quick mod and a little update, driver and aesthetic and performance. So I plan to update these headlights here. Well, not the headlights, but the bulbs. So stock, they have pretty white old bulbs, this being a 2005. So we're going to update those to some H7 LED bright whites, 6500K I think they are. So we're going to go with those, and hopefully they will match this here. So as you can see, pretty yellow compared to my white LED third light here. So yeah, let's get to switching those out. So here's the kit that I ended up buying, super cheap on Amazon. I just searched H7 LED bulbs. This one came up. It was top of the reviews, prime shipping on Amazon, and they were like 25 bucks if I think I remember correctly. So you can see them here. They come with a fan motor, so we're gonna have to do just a slight customization to the rubber boot that holds the stock lights in. This is one of the stock bulbs, which don't worry, I will show you how to remove these, but yep, so this is the kit here. This is what the bulb looks like now. So pretty big difference from stock right off the bat that you can see. It has the same style plug, which is great. That was one thing that I made sure that I looked for, was that it had this dual prong plug here. When I first saw these online, I was like, what is that? It almost looks like it plugged into the wall, but it actually does make sense because it's the same style as this here. So yes, I did get to, I already took one out and was playing with it. So yeah, let's get to installing this. So first thing on my 2005 Honda CBR 600RR is it's pretty great because I don't have to take off the whole front fairing or take out the headlight assembly or anything to get to this. So a lot of bikes right here have a hard plastic cover, and this one specifically just has a rubber grommet with this plug right here, so that makes it I don't know if it's easier or not, but we're going to roll with that. So I got to take this plug out, and this plug right here has, you pinch on either side. So you just pinch and then pull back, and that pulls off like that. As you can see, the two prongs go right into these two slots, and then you can see the prongs sticking out right there. So we're going to remove this just by pulling on these tabs. Pull that out. So the plug right here has a metal bent piece of wire clip, and it's pretty standard on a lot of bikes and cars, but this is going to be a little bit hard to show you because it's hard to get in here. But basically, you can see right up top here, this you have to push in, meaning towards the front of the bike, and then to the right to get it off that little clip there. I'll see if I can do it. So push in and then to the right, and it comes off like that. And then you can pull this out, and now that's out. So now we have our new bulb that's going to go in, and basically it's got a collar on it here, this black piece that you're going to want to twist and then pull off, because that is going to go in first. So that piece there. So this piece here is going to go in here, and it's got this tab on it, which is going to line up with that slot that you see there on the right of the housing. So I'm just going to put that in there. like that. And then this is gonna go in, and it has a tab on the right side and a tab on the left side. And they are different in size. One is thicker, the one on the right in this case is thicker than the one on the left. So you have to figure out which way that goes. And to me, it looks like the thicker one is gonna go to the top right, and then you're gonna turn this 45 degrees to lock in place. Now, one thing, it depends on which direction you want the LEDs facing. Do you want them side to side, or do you want them top to bottom? I guess that's going to depend on which way you install it and turn it, and you have to consider that, how you want it. I think I'm going to want them top to bottom because I don't want them shooting out to the sides. I want them reflecting fully in the headlight housing there, so that's what I'm going to go with. I don't know which is better, but based on my non-expert opinion, that's what I'm going to go with. So that's what we'll do. And then the only other thing is we got to worry about the rubber boot here. So we might have to put that on first before putting this on, because we got to get the wire through it. And yeah, let's figure that out. Okay, so after playing with this for a little bit and trying to get this to fit through here, it does initially, but it doesn't go in far enough. This is too tight, and no matter how much you try and stretch it or whatever, it just doesn't fit right. So I went ahead and cut this, as you can see, right at that interval. So I just cut this top nub off at the first taper inward, or first step inward. I cut it off there. So when you take this and put it through in this direction, it does go through kind of up to there, which is great, but I wanted to get it all the way on past this vent. So with two hands, maybe I can do it with one. So kind of just work it up in, and then it gets like there. So you got all the vent past the rubber boot, and it's nice and tight around it now because it's stretched on. And I didn't even really have to cut a spot for the wire, which is cool. So it kind of just stretches the rubber there a little bit, but that's completely fine. I'm not worried about that. This is a good enough seal anyway. I mean, to be completely honest, it has a fan, it's got an opening. If any moisture gets in the headlight, it's going to get in because of this regardless. So if it happens, it happens, but I think it should be fine. So now we're going to have to put this in, and it's going to be a little bit tricky because the rubber boot is on there now, but it's got to go in, line up the prongs, and then turn it 45 degrees. And then the nice thing about this is this rubber boot doesn't go on in any specific orientation. It just kind of gets press fit on there. So yeah. So you're going to take this clip down here, push it back over because that's what's going to hold that in place. And you want to get it back on there. There we go. So now it's back on there. That's going to hold that place, and that's going to still allow enough room for the bulb to fit through and lock in place. So now we're going to take this and install it. I got the thicker tab at the top here and the thinner tab at the bottom. So we're going to go in, sort of slanted to the right, and line that up. This is going to be impossible for you guys to see on camera, really, and because it's impossible for me to even see now behind the rubber boot. But okay, so I can push that all the way in now, and now I'm just going to turn this whole thing, hopefully. Got to keep some pressure on it, and just rotate the whole thing to the right till it stops. Okay, now it's locked in place. Now I'm just going to push this rubber boot on, and that's in there. Okay, so now we have the plug sticking out, and then we have the other end of the plug in the factory wiring. So one thing I noticed, which is not ideal here, but this plug does have the right prongs and does have the right style of fitting here, but the problem is, if I can get this to focus, it's too skinny to fit in these. Like if I line it up with one, I don't know if you can see, here, let me do the other side. If I line it up with the left side, you can see it's not lining up with the right side. So this is too skinny. So there's a couple options here. I could try to bend these to make them fit, but they're not really long extruded prongs, so like I would have to do two bends, like bending them outward wider and then back straight again, and I don't think they're long enough to get that wide of a bend on it. So I think I'm just going to do some clips and some jumper wires to run to these two ports on the left and right side here to make this work. Yeah, so let's try that. Okay, so I went ahead and created these two little jumper wires. I used red for my positive and I only had white wires, so I made white my negative. I used the male spade connector to go into the factory plug, and then a female spade connector on this end, so that way this can plug right into both of those. So I'm going to plug this in and then we'll test it. Okay, so these are now plugged in, two little jumper wires connected properly. It's not the most ideal thing, but it should work. And then I'll just have to like electrical wire tape this all up, and for the meantime, unless I think of a better solution. But anyway, that should be good for now. So let's shut this off. Let's turn this on. Wow. Yeah, so you can see now it's bright white compared to the yellow that it was earlier, and it matches my third eye light, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, that's super bright. Obviously this isn't like a legit test to test height and brightness and whatever, but as far as this goes right now, it's super bright and shines up in a pretty even pattern. I mean, only a couple feet away, but yeah, it looks like a pretty good pattern there, and it's much brighter in that housing than the stock one. Like, I can't even look at it anymore, and I could look pretty much directly at the stock one, so that's good. You can hear the fan rolling already without the bike even on. I guess it just probably just turns on as soon as the light turns on and runs until the light turns off. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. So now we'll get the other side in and then see how they both look. Actually, before I do the other side, so the weird thing about this bike is this is the low beam, and then the high beam is just this one turning on. And it's like angled a little bit different, and it's got a little slightly different housing on the inside that makes it higher. But I'm gonna post a photo right now of the new low beam with the stock high beam still installed, and you can see the color difference. So that should be going on right now. Alright, so the bike has been moved. It actually took a couple days because I had to wait for some new electrical connectors to come in to do the other side because I ran out. But I want to show you guys what it looks like with both the high and low beam on at the same time with the new bulbs in. So let's turn this on. High beams are on. So there it is with both lights glowing nice and white. I think it looks really awesome. And honestly, now with them both being so bright and the same color, you can't really tell that the left one, right side if you're sitting on the bike, but left one right now is the high beam, because it's actually pointed up higher. Like I said, the housing is slightly different in there and it's got a different angle on it, but you can't tell now. So now I can run my high beam on all the time and just have dual headlights basically, because I hate running the one headlight. Everybody's always like, oh, you have a light out, but no, I don't. It's just when I switch to low beam, that's what happens. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, to be quite honest, I don't really care if I'm blinding people for a second or two, because in reality I'd rather have more people be able to see me while I'm on my bike anyway. So yeah, that looks super awesome. So pumped. 25 bucks. This was an awesome mod. And again, this isn't a legitimate test of brightness or anything like that, or like spread or anything, or to see if the beam actually goes further than the stock lights. But just from what I can see in here in my garage, the 10 feet from my bike to the garage door right now, it's really bright. And I don't have any weird like splattering of light in weird spots. It's all kind of pretty centrally concentrated, and like you're seeing some stuff here, but that's literally because the bike is touching the wall right there. But yeah, it's pretty even, and then it's not like super bright over here. Like some light is going off to the side, which is good because you want to be able to see the sides of the road anyway. But yeah, I'm really satisfied with this. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope that was helpful and informative. These new lights are awesome, so much brighter. I'm going to have to take them out and go for a test drive, but I don't ride in the dark very often. Honestly, I know it's not the right thing, but I was doing it more for the looks and the color, so they look great as far as in the garage goes. I will go test them out in person, but for 25 bucks, I'm super pleased. Slight bit of customization required, but not much at all, and pretty easy to install. Unlike HIDs, they didn't require any like ballast or a ton of extra wiring or having to mount any of that stuff. And as far as the customization go, I just really had to kind of trim off that rubber boot, which was super easy with a little X-Acto knife, and made that happen. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps, and I appreciate it a lot. And leave a comment on your thoughts or what you liked or what you want to see, or say what's up. I don't care. I'm going to try to respond and keep an eye on the comments coming in. So yeah, have a good one and peace out. Stay tuned.